From AccuWeather.com, this is AccuWeather Daily, a brief host-read article. It's weather news in a nutshell. Today is Earth Day, and millions around the world will come together in a global call to protect the planet. The Earth Day movement began in 1970, and it's grown into one of the largest environmental movements over the last 55 years. Now, what started as a single day of awareness has deep roots in a growing sense of environmental urgency that swept the U.S. in the late 1960s. Long before Earth Day became a global event, the country was grappling with the visible consequences of pollution and industrial expansion, issues that galvanized a new generation of environmental advocates. By the end of the 1960s, the effects of unchecked industrial growth in the United States had become impossible to ignore. Smog blanketed cities, rivers catching fire, and wildlife populations in decline. It was a turning point, said Earth Day Network President Kathleen Rogers. River fires were not uncommon throughout the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The industrial waste-polluted Cuyahoga River in Cleveland reportedly ignited at least 13 times, and rivers in cities like Philadelphia, Baltimore, and Detroit had all burst into flames. By the late 1960s, the environmental toll of industrial pollution was reaching a breaking point. The damage was becoming undeniable, and Rogers said it was clear that major change was urgently needed. One of the most dramatic wake-up calls came in January 1969, when a blowout at an offshore oil rig sent more than 3 million gallons of crude gushing into the Santa Barbara Channel. The spill created a 35-mile-long slick along the Southern California coast, coating beaches in oil and killing thousands of sea mammals, birds, and fish. At the time, it was the largest oil spill ever recorded off the U.S. coastline. That frustration wasn't limited to the coast, though. Across the country, Americans were grappling with smog-choked skies, toxic air, and the visible impacts of industrial pollution. The environmental crisis was no longer abstract. It was something that people could see, smell, and feel in their own communities. The oil spill, combined with a growing public awareness of water and air pollution, helped spark political action. Wisconsin native and U.S. Senator Gaylord Nelson saw an opportunity to bring environmental issues to the forefront of national conversation. Looking to harness the energy of the student anti-war movement, Nelson proposed a nationwide teach-in focused on the environment. With the help of passionate college students, including Dennis Hayes, then a graduate student at Harvard, plans for the first Earth Day began to take shape in the fall of '69. Because it falls between spring break and the final exam period, April 22nd was the chosen date. In addition to other demonstrations and rallies hosted across the country, thousands of colleges and universities protested the environment's deterioration due to impacts from oil spills, toxic dumps, and power plant pollution. The Environmental Protection Agency formed on December 2, 1970. The environmental movement also led to the passing of the Endangered Species, the Clean Air, and Clean Water Acts. While the previous movement focused mainly on national parks and conserving species for hunting, the focus shifted to health concerns. What began as a grassroots effort in the United States quickly grew into a global movement, and by 1990, Earth Day had gone international, mobilizing hundreds of millions of people across the planet. Today, it's recognized as the largest secular observance in the world, with more than 1 billion participants taking part in events and actions every year. The heart of Earth Day has always been about mobilizing people to care for the places they live, and that mission continues this year. This year's theme, Our Power, Our Planet, calls on communities around the world to come together and demand a shift to renewable energy, with the goal of tripling clean electricity by 2030. The Earth Day Network continues to focus on issues like reforestation, plastic pollution, and protecting endangered species. But this year, the power is in the people. You can join Earth Action Day by organizing, educating, or simply showing up. Whether you host an event, share resources online, or take a quiz to learn more, Earth Day 2025 is about stepping up together. That's all for now. You can find regional forecasts and science-based articles at AccuWeather.com. And for your local forecast at your fingertips, download the AccuWeather app. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe. I'll be back tomorrow with more from AccuWeather.